This passage from the Gospel of John helps us see the intimacy between Jesus and the Father. Jesus did what the Father told him to do. And because of this, he says, "He who believes in me believes not in me, but in the one who sent me." And then he specifies his mission. "I, the light, have come into the world, so that whoever believes in me need not stay in the dark anymore." He presents himself as light. Jesus' mission is to enlighten the light. He himself said, "I am the light of the world." The prophet Isaiah had prophesied this light. The people who walk in darkness have seen a great light. The promise of the light that would illumine the people, enlighten the people. And the mission of the apostles is to bring the light. Paul says this to King Agrippa, I was chosen to enlighten, to bring the light. The light is someone else. I was just called to bring the light. And Jesus' mission to bring the light, and the mission of the apostles to bring the light of Jesus, to enlighten. Because the world was in darkness. But the drama of the light of Jesus is that it was rejected. Even from the beginning of the Gospel of John, it says this clearly. He came to his own, and his own did not receive him. They loved the darkness more than the light. To accustom oneself to the darkness, to live in darkness. They don't know how to welcome the light. They can't. They're slaves to the darkness. And this is the continuous battle that was Jesus, to enlighten, to bring the light that makes seen the cause as they are, that helps us see the reality, the truth, to see the path on which to go, but with the light of Jesus. Paul had this experience of the passage from the darkness to the light. When the Lord met him along the way to Damascus, and he remained blind. The Lord's light was blinding. And then he spent a few days, and then with baptism, he regained the light. He had this experience of the passage through the darkness in which he was into the light. And this is also our passage. Sacramentally, we received that in baptism, and because of this, in the first centuries, baptism was called illumination or enlightenment because it made one enter. And so the ceremony of baptism, we give a lit candle to the mother and father, so that because the girl or boy, the baby girl or boy, has been enlightened, Jesus brings the light. But the people, his people, rejected it. They were so accustomed to the darkness that the light blinded them. And this is the drama of our sin. Sin blinds. and we can't tolerate the light.
Abbiamo gli occhi
We have
ammalati.
sick eyes. And Jesus says this clearly in the Gospel of Matthew. If your eye is ill, your entire body is ill. If your eye only sees the darkness, how much darkness you have inside of you. The darkness. And conversion is that passage from the darkness into the light. But what are the things that make our eyes ill? The eyes of faith. Our eyes are ill. What are some things that draw it down and blind them? Vices,
lo spirito mondano,
worldly spirit,
la superbia.
And pride.
I vizi che ti tirano giù.
The vices that bring you down.
E anche queste tre cose.
And even these things, vices, pride, and a worldly spirit, they bring you to associate with others in order to remain secure in the darkness. We often speak about the mafia. It's that. But there are also spiritual mafias. There are domestic mafias. Always trying to find someone in order to cover things up, in order to remain in the darkness. It's not easy to live in the light. The light makes us see many ugly things within us that we don't want to see. Vices, sin.
Pensiamo ai nostri vizi.
Let's think of our vices. Let's think
Alla nostra superbia.
of our pride.
Pensiamo allo spirito mondano.
Let's think of our own worldly spirit.
Queste cose
These things blind us.
ci allontanano dalla luce.
They distance ourselves from Jesus' light.
Ma se noi entriamo a pensare a
But
queste
if we begin to think of these things, we won't find a wall. No, we'll find the way out.
cose,
Because Jesus himself
dice che lui è la
said,
luce,
He is the light,
sono venuto al mondo
and I came into the world,
non per condannare il
not to condemn the
mondo,
world,
per salvare.
but to save the world.
Gesù stesso, la
Jesus
luce,
himself, the
abbi
light,
coraggio,
says,
lasciati illuminarti,
have
lasciati
courage,
vedere
allow
quello
yourself
che
to
hai
be
dentro,
enlightened,
che sono
and
venuto
let
a
yourself
portarti
see
avanti,
what is inside of
a
you, because
salvarti
I
da
will
un
be the
mondo
one to bring you forward. I will be the one to save you.
Salva.
I'm not going to condemn you. I'm going to save you.
Signore che ci salva
The
delle
Lord who
tenebre
saves
che
us
abbiamo
from the
dentro,
darkness that we have within
dalle
us,
tenebre
from the
della
darkness
vita quotidiana,
of our daily
della vita
lives,
sociale,
of our
della
social
vita
lives,
politica,
of political
della vita
life,
nazionale,
of national life,
internazionale,
international
tante
life,
tenebre
all of
dentro.
these darknesses that are inside.
Ci salva.
The Lord saves us from these.
Ci chiede di
But He asks us
vederle prima.
to see them first, to have the courage to see our own darkness so that the light of the Lord might enter in and save us.
Non abbiamo paura
Let's not be afraid
del Signore,
of the Lord. He's very good. He's meek.
vicino a noi,
He's near
è
us.
venuto per salvarci.
And He came to save us.
Non abbiamo paura
Let's
alla
not
luce
be
di
afraid
Gesù.
of Jesus' light.